Go.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to be here today to introduce Shanneta Robertson, who is going to talk to us about her journey and her career path that she is in. So, Shanneta, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for being here and your willingness to share your journey for the youth and young adults that are in seed. So, just in case if this is a career path they would like to take, here's their opportunity to learn. So, if you can start off by just kind of telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Number one, my name is Shanneta. I have my story is kind of funny. I started off at Alabama State, so because I wanted to go to HBCU. I didn't like the roaches, so I came back home. And I was managing. My career was going to be a elementary school teacher, but then I was like, came back home, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna do computer science. So I went to UWM, I was in computer science, and I couldn't pass my trigonometry class. And I had a friend who was in the same class, and she said, hey, I went to the School of Business, and here's a pamphlet, and it's like computer science, but it's called Management Information Systems, and it's from the business perspective. So I'm like, tell me more, because I can't get out my trigonometry class for the second time. So she gave me more information, and from then on, like, I loved it. It's from the business perspective. You you take classes from HR, from accounting. We did a lot of programming, and so I ended up getting a degree in management information systems. And so now I worked in Atlanta because I lived in Atlanta, and I worked in Atlanta at a credit union in their IT department for about 5 years or so. I was a computer operator, meaning I ran the system. So when you log onto your banking information, I had to make sure that that was up and running, the whole system. And I liked it, but I didn't like the hours. I was on call 24/7, and that was not, and they didn't pay you like to compensate you for being on call 24/7. Plus, you had to learn the whole system and run the whole system. So then we moved to Milwaukee, and one of the things about like connecting with people and everything, one of the programs that the credit union used in Georgia called Mortgage Bot. I came back to Milwaukee and I applied for a job at Mortgage Bot, and I have been there ever since for the last 10 years. We've gone through 3 acquisitions, but I'm still there in a role called, I'm a senior, I'm sorry, not senior, but I'm an expert technical engineer, meaning I do a lot of database work, and I'm like assistant manager and everything. So I really like it. It's been a journey. I started off as QA, and then I moved up to technical implementation specialist. Now I'm at expert level. Yes.
What motivates you to stay in banking? Did you ever have problems with people that was on the phone? What made you like keep your calm and talk to them as a professional worker?
That's a good question. So I really didn't have to deal, well, I'm gonna back up. Before I became a computer operator, I was a teller, a bank teller. So one of the things I had to, interact with a lot of customers, different customers, all nationalities, black, white, you name it. And I never like really had unruly customers, I would say. And sometimes like if people, they may come in there because they're angry because they got charged an amount or somebody stole money from their account, and they'll take it out on you. But you just have to like reassure them, like, okay, this is fine, it's gonna be okay. Let's work together to get through this. So I really haven't worked directly one-on-one with like a lot of customers, but I do work with a lot of different departments now. So
What was was your biggest barrier getting to the position you're at now?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. So, one of the things I would say, being a black woman in the, working world is number one. That's my, one thing that I have against me. I'm a black woman. I'm educated, and I'm all, black women are already looked at as aggressive, you know, black girl attitude, and all of that. So I felt like I had to fight harder to get where I'm at today. I have a boss who I love dearly, who has kept me in like his mind of things. Like when I'm not in the room, he's in the room talking about me. And so, just trying to stay positive and knowing that people got promotions. And I was sitting there like, man. And he called me like, I'm angry that you didn't get the promotion. You deserved it, but it was given to someone else. And he said, if you want to quit, you can go ahead. I get it. I understand. He said, but if you please just bear with me. I have some things in store. And when I tell you, like he came through, I got skipped over being a senior and became an expert. So like when he's out of the office, I'm in charge. Or if he's too busy, everyone comes to me. So it's like things happen, blossom, and I didn't even know it was happening. And when we went through another acquisition and they were like, well, it was time for, pay raises and people, just to get, their not the pay raises, but also like just to, move on up in the company. He said to his boss, he said, I don't care about any of my other employees right now. I need Shanneta to have this. And she said, fine. Your employee, you know her more than we do, you know what she's done. And so from then on, like I've been his number one right hand, and like he believed in me because I knew what I brought to the table. And I knew like doing QA work was not what I wanted to do forever. And so now it's just having that respect of being a black woman and, speaking up and having people in your corner when you're not in the room. That's like the key part.
Well, you shared a little bit about in terms of, the journey that it took for you to get to where you're at, and what involves of what you do. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of sounds like you work mostly in like a male dominant type of position. As it relates to like systems, it's more so dealing with systems type things.
So the company I work for now is a financial technology company. So like, if you go online to apply for a mortgage or a car, we host those applications. We make it look like it's your bank, but we host it, and your bank, tells us what we need to put in the application, the questions and all of that. So that part, is the database work, but our company now they want to be the most loved financial technology company in the world. So they are taking into consideration diversity, more women, people that look like me, and that's one of the things. We get surveys sent out every, couple of months. And within the survey, I always say, I want to see someone in executive leadership that looks like me. Because when you see someone that looks like you, it's more obtainable. And so, but when I worked for the credit union, it was more of a male dom. I was the only lady in our department. So I came from an all male dominant place to more of a diverse, women, more women and men mixture.
And I heard you mention that you attended college in Atlanta earlier. How long did you attend school for?
So I went to Alabama State University. My story is I think I did school for 7 years, only because I started at Alabama State. I came back to Milwaukee. I did part-time, half-time. Within that time, I lost my mother, so that kind of put me back. And then within that time, I ended up having a child, so that kind of put me back. But what I never did was I never stopped. I went from part-time summer school, if, one class, two classes, what I never did, I never stopped because my mom was determined to have my sisters and I all graduate from college. So it took me 7 years to do it, but I got it done. Yes.
Did anything about your journey surprise you?
The fact that I could like do programming, I remember taking a programming course in college and I like couldn't figure it out. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like it was like jibber jabber. And then once I quit my job to start like to focus really on school, I was able to like go see the teachers and the teachers' assistants, and that's when I started learning like programming, and like I loved it. Like I would, even now sometimes I'm like, everything that you do is a program. Like when you're on your phone, when you're playing video games, like that's all programming. It's, taking this to make this and show this, and I love it. That's one thing that I want to get back into because I don't do a lot of programming anymore. I do a lot of database. So like searching things and inputting information into a database. When the partners that we work with send us information, everything is database related, and then the web design kind of makes it work. And then everything that's within the database is pulled into the website.
You talked a little bit about your challenges of getting to, where you are now. Are there any other barriers you faced in terms of getting there? Like you spoke a little bit about, okay, you were in Alabama, then came here, and then your mom passed, and then the child. Were there any other barriers that you faced?
I know, like, just having to be an advocate for yourself. Because when you go to a larger university, you're kind of like a number. You don't have that one-on-one relationship with your teacher. And so, like, one thing I was like struggling with accounting. Like, I do not like accounting to this day, don't like accounting, but I have a sister who is a CPA and she loves it. So like, I remember like calling her and we're on the phone going over my work. And so just being able to advocate for yourself, that was like my hurdle, because I was shy and scared, didn't like to talk, but then like I realized that I can't get forward without talking and going to see the teachers and everything for help. So
Could you tell us what an average work day is like for you, managing these systems?
Every day is different. So average work day, I still work from home, but I log on to work every morning, check my emails, and we have like deadlines that we have to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I pretty much, partners send in all of the stuff that they want done to their site. So it's up to me and my team to get all of those completed every Tuesday and Thursday by 12:30. And some issues are more complex than others. So we work on that. And then we also have an India team that we work with. So one of my responsibilities is to train them to get them up to par. So say for instance, our holidays are different. They work, different holidays. We want it to be like we could leave them to really run the system while we take off work, or we're in a meeting. They can take off, do everything. So just working to get our deadlines done, and then just different meetings and working on different issues that partners have brought to our attention, or things that they want to add to their sites, and we have to like do a lot of research. So just things like that, and different projects that come up too. So
What was the most interesting part of your career?
the most interesting part is of my career has been just meeting different people, from all aspects, because we're a global wide company. I've met people all over the world, and, just talking to them. I'm in a group, it's called Black Excellence. And it's a group of black people within the company, but there's also, just different nationalities that, also join as well. And so one day I joined a meeting, and I'm just sitting there waiting for other people to join. And a guy pops in and he's just like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? And we have this program that they've rolled out. So he's asking all of these questions. And I'm like responding to him and not knowing who he was. And I, voice my opinion, and I'm like, I just want to see more people that look like me within our company, within our place that, I work at. And then come to find out he was one of the ELT leaders. And I was like, whoa, and like, then I'm like, well, did I say anything? Like, but it was more so like, he's like, I really love this conversation. And I was just like, that made me feel really good, because it's like you never know who's in the room or who's listening. So, yeah.
Is there anything you would do differently since taking this career path?
Ooh, I think about that often. Um, so one of the things that I think about is, when I graduated from high school, well, not even when I graduated, it was my senior year of high school. We had these companies, different companies come in and they would hire different individuals. So my, company that hired me was the Milwaukee County Human Resources Department for the Department of Public Works. And I worked in the Human Resources Department. And so like hindsight 22, I was like, maybe I should have just went into human resources, because I was in the door right there, but it really didn't, like kind of intrigue me as much. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, but there's so many avenues that you can go through. So just, being more diverse, with things, I would have done that differently. Still probably would have did the management information system, but also HR on the other side.
Well, this question kind of is a little bit different. It's kind of like the flip. You've explained a lot about your interests and your passion. What drives you to stay in this particular career? So you expressed a little bit about like, hey, oh, I could have possibly dipped off over here, but what drives you to stay where you're at?
Just the ever changing. Like, it's not the same. That's one thing that I love about it. Like, technology is not the same. It's not when I first started, and I know it's gonna be way more advanced. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, like your phone updates. And before I felt like, oh, I could just, go on there. Now it's like, Trey, come here, help me, figure this out and understand this, and just trying to push myself to learn the new things, because technology changes every day. And that's one of the things within my career path, is you have to be open to change. If not, you're gonna be sad. And it's a lot of people that I do work with, some older and some younger, that don't like the change at all. And like, even, as small as updating your computer, like, no one likes to do it, but it's like a learning, curve. And so I love like how everything is changing, and just trying to stay up on all of the changes, and not feel like I'm old. So that's one of the things that I struggle with, but yeah.
So, since COVID has started, how has it affected your career?
So, since COVID, I work from home, but pre-COVID, I worked from home 2 days a week. So it wasn't like a whole, oh my gosh, we all gotta work from home. And I enjoy working from home. Like, I can go into the office, but just, I have my whole setup in my basement, my whole desk, and all of my monitors and all of that. And so it's nothing, now with technology, you have Teams. So you can video chat all day, but it also isn't the same as literally going into the office and physically seeing and getting that whole, vibe again. I do kind of miss that a little bit. But it also showed, um, like, like I said before, being open to change. Because a lot of people don't like to work from home still to this day. Um, just, different homes have different dynamics. And some people feel like their outlet is to go to work. And then to come home, it is hard, like, cause there's no real outlet. You get up in the morning, and I still, like, I get up, I shower, I get dressed. I may not dress up, but I get dressed for the day and I log in for work. And I made it a point to take lunches. I made it a point to log off on time, because when we first started with COVID, I was working 6:30, sometimes 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and now I'm like, nope. I log in between 6:30 and 7, and I'm done between 3:30 and 4. Like, you have to have that balance, because if not, you will go crazy. So,
Last question. So if you could give some words of encouragement or insight to a youth or young adult that is interested in going into the field of IT, what would you say?
do it. Like, one of the things I've learned, like, over the years is you don't have to do the 4 year. MATC or technical college is wonderful. You can use that as your base, and then just move on up to whatever you want to do. And one of the things that I've learned in life is having some type of degree or certificate will get you anywhere, because it's once you achieve a degree or a certificate, all that means is you're trainable. You can do the work. And there are a lot of people out here that fear, like, going to school, because they're like, I'm done with high school. I don't want to do this all over again. Or you don't want to spend all that money. Like, you can always do, like, a trade. Trades are wonderful. We need more people in the trades now, because people are retiring. So just even doing trades, like, it's so many things out there. Like, and IT is ever changing, so even just getting the certificate, there's so many certificates that's free. Like, Microsoft has certificates. Like, if you just Google it, you can get a certificate to fix computers and just, fix cell phones, all of that. So just do it. That's all I say.
Thank you so much. In closing, is there anything else that you would want to let us know about the field of IT or share?
I think it's just like a really good field to go into, and there's all different kinds of outlets of IT. You have your computer programmers, you have like your computer science, like, that's like more technical, and then you have like the business aspects of it, and just there's so many branches of it, and everything that you do, and just seeing the world today, everything is going to be computerized. I mean, look at vehicles now, everything runs on a computer. So being able to just learn everything and be on top of, like, everything, so you won't be behind, like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do this, or how do I do that? Like, it's just, IT is like one of the places that's never gonna die down. So,
Well, thank you so much. We thank you for joining us today and to discuss your career path. Let's give Shanneta a round of applause.
Thank you.